War Agency Omega taking on Space Station Gray Echo. Let's get this going.
Let's take a look. It looks like we have Agent coming on in right now. And starting with the bats, nice and early on this attack, going in against Halo Blade. We don't often see bats coming in this early, especially because how do you control the direction that they go? Notice, but to be honest with you, they're taking out quite a few defenses, more than I would expect. But that is definitely an unconventional start, and the Wizard Tower is going to clean out the rest of those bats. So far, 9%, nearly all of your spells. Definitely a different start. Definitely different.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's a reason that was not something that we commonly see. I don't know if I love that. Wait, hang on, Echo. I was kind of getting on the bat train, and I think I'm getting off the bat. I don't know. This might be getting me off the bat train. I don't know. Well, I don't think that was. I could let me see. Let's see how the rest of this attack plays out. We still have a decent amount of balloons, decent amount of dragons to come on in. So I don't know how I feel about that.
What was being done is the funnel was being created. The base was being narrowed because it's a drag bat attack. No one starts a drag bat attack with the bats first, and then the dragons coming in. I mean, you notice that there's a lot of storages there, which take a lot of time for the dragons to get through. So maybe the attacker was thinking that he wanted to get rid of the defenses so that they don't target those dragons. I am not really sure. It's definitely not the conventional way to do the attack, but I'm going to see the Grand Warden using that Eternal Tome ability pretty soon. Actually, yes, there we go. I just heard it pop. And on top of the Town Hall, that Town Hall is going to go down. Will there be enough power? I mean, the Stone Slammer is still up. This is going a lot better than I had anticipated from that start. The Scatter Shot down below is being attacked by 4 dragons. They should win that battle. They do win the battle, and the balloons are pathing through the core of the base. Multi-target Inferno is there. What are you thinking? Does this have enough power to push through the back end?
It might. I may be standing corrected here. Hang on. We've got some fairly tanky, some fairly healthy dragons still. Decent amount of balloons. A baby dragon off to the other side to help clean this up. This is, I mean, just given the start, this is already looking a lot better than I expected. 83% in climbing. So still, Agent Big B. All right. I see you, man. A little bit unconventional, but really solid, actually. 83% 2-star hit. That's exactly what you want. That is perfectly acceptable here in the playoffs. Mid-80s, 2-star. Yeah, we'll take it.
It's not a little bit unconventional. It's a lot unconventional. But like you said, it came through the base a lot better than I thought it was going to after seeing the first drop of those bats. I was actually taken back, not knowing what was going on. Never seen that done before. Maybe it's a new meta thing that I just don't know of. But I don't think so. I wonder how Space Station Gray is going to respond, though, to that 2-star.
That is the question indeed. What will the response be after that unconventional opener? Let's see. It's up to Fish TM. He's trademarked. Yeah. I don't think you can trademark Fish. I'm going to be honest. I feel like maybe you can't do that. That they're just Fish.
You may not be able to trademark it, but you could put a TM at the end of it in Clash of Clans, I guess. But look at this. Was Fish the player who last week came in with Bow Witch and surprised all of us? Because we have another Bow Witch attack coming in right here. Golem, Ice Golem, Bowlers and Witches coming across the southwestern side of the base, quad quaking into the core. Will it have enough power to push through the base like we saw happen last week against Tribe? I'm not sure, because that was pretty crazy to see that happen. We didn't see Bow Witch work so well earlier on. It did pull in a high percentage too, but look at this. The Town Hall was ignored. The troops are going along the outside of the base. That is not the pathing that he was looking for. Now, he does have the blimp to get into the core, but he has to fight a sweeper along the way.
Yeah, that's going to take a while. And now, unfortunately, I don't know what it was that actually ended up activating the Town Hall there, because it did do a lot of damage with those the Giga Inferno as they went around the outside. The King's got to now come in here and help try cleaning this up. But, oh, that Giga Bomb damage. Oh, boy. He's got a jump spell, try and weave their way through the center of this, but the Tornado Trap is there to just shut that down, and I don't think so. I don't know about that one, Chief.
No, there's just not a lot of health left, and this is a devastating. We have a 49%, but there's one Archer. Okay, the 50% was just grabbed from that Wizard up top. That was almost brutal. because you do not want to start a war out with a 1-star. We do have 1 archer left. Unfortunately, the Eagle Artillery is going to rain down on wherever that girl is dropped. Looks like,
and I hate to break it to you, Echo. It wasn't almost brutal. That was not ideal. That was a 52% hit. That might be. I'm gonna be a little savage. I'm sorry. That was I think that was the lowest hit we've seen yet of the playoffs here for the ESL, which is so funny because the last time, I'm pretty sure you're right. Pretty sure the last time we saw Fish, he did run a very, very similar strategy, and he dunked with it. Like he had like a minute left. He had like a minute 14 left in the clock when he finished that. It was the fastest triple of the day. So to go from that to a 52%, yikes! Just goes to show that maybe this attack strategy a little volatile, and they're still working out all the kinks.
Maybe, and it is definitely base dependent as well, as are all attack strategies. But listen, it would have been a lot more brutal if that was a 1-star. 52% 2-star is not ideal, but at least it's a 2-star. They're not down. I mean, they're down significantly on percent, but it's early. It's very early. We have a lot more to come. Let's see what's coming up next.
Let's see. Let's get into this next attack by a War Agency Omega. It's Skywalker up here. He's going to be dropping in some Yetis. He's going to be dropping in some Bowlers. He's got some Witches, and he's got that Quad Quake.
Yeah, and I like people adding these Witches. I mean, we saw that do really well in the last war. And the Witches spawning those skeletons, like you mentioned, something that creates more troops, can offer a lot of value if used properly. And on the back end, we don't have any bats on this one, so it's going to be basically a Yeti Bowler smash into the core. Quad Quake is ready to go. Town Hall, though, it's on the other end of the base, so we're going to have to see where he decides. Looks like he's going in with the Siege Barrack over in the northern portion, and here we go. This Grand Warden's got a long walk to get back to all of his troops, and he's going to take that walk because he is a support hero. He doesn't go solo. He's not a rogue. He goes in with the team. That's my kind of hero.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, you know the kind of troop we can get back under control, and of course because he is set to ground mode, the splash damage from that scatter shot will not be affecting his healers, which is a big deal. Okay, to get the timing on it, to survive that with the Eternal Tome off the scatter shot damage, that was sick. Skywalker doing the very best here, dancing on a razor's edge. That was so clutch. And you've got the RC on the other side as well, fighting the defensive RC. This is going to come down to the wire on that one. One more tick. Okay, just barely. But the core of this base is getting absolutely gutted. You still got a jump spell to open up the rest of it, and there's a lot of troops left up in this. The fact that Grand Warden stayed alive is absolutely amazing, and the Queen also getting supported by those healers. This is big, and 70% left. There's not a ton of defenses left. This is looking pretty good.
This is looking really nice. The only thing I'm concerned about is that single target Inferno, but notice the Witch up top continuing to create that spam as well, which is kind of misdirecting that Inferno Tower. I'm wondering how big of a play that's going to make later on in the attack when all these troops make their way around, because there is time. There's no rush of the clock right here. There's a minute left. There's 1 balloon in the composition as well. The Queen, she's pounding on that wall. Her ability is gone, and then after getting through the wall, she decides to turn back and help out those skeletons. But this is going to be close. I'm really, really curious as to how this Inferno Tower is going to play out, because we've seen it shut down so many attacks today. But look at the number of skeletons. Will the skeletons distract the Inferno Tower enough so the Grand Warden can target it after that laboratory goes down? I think they will. It looks like Skywalker is going to be pulling in a 3-star, or is he? My goodness, it couldn't be getting any closer. And the balloon's death damage takes it down for the 3-star, pulling ahead of Space Station Gray with that unbelievable. The Witches. It's the Witches. They're the secret.
I mean, yeah. I mean, clearly that's the difference maker there. No, I think that was just really well played, taking the extra time to set the funnel, but not so much time that he felt rushed or panicked at the end. Still had like 10 seconds, which was a lot in the world of Clash of Clans. That Grand Warden, though, popping that Eternal Tome ability right at the perfect moment. That might have actually been triggered by death, now I think about it, but I don't think it was. I think it was actually planned. We're going to go with that. I think it was actually planned because it was like the millisecond before it went through, and that's what I'm going to pretend happened. Either way, it was really, really well done, and I'm a big fan of that attack, and I can't wait to see what they can do next, because Space Station Gray, they need to go big here in this war. They've now got a triple all on their own. I'm stoked. We're seeing hybrid.
Yeah. Yeah, we are seeing hybrid again, one of the more meta strategies, and Eric from Space Station Gray coming in on this strategy. Notice the triple island compartments. Although the Inferno Towers are not alone in those compartments, they are protected by the wall. So you have to really decide where you're going to break in, and that's why the hybrid is great, because the miners will go under, the hogs will go over, and you don't need to worry as much about those compartments. Walls matter less. So starting out with a nice queen charge, going to be hopefully going in straight for that town hall. Lots of troops here too. Look at the double line of troops on this on the screen right now. A lot of troops in the back end. We have the barbarians, archers. We have a giant, the super wall breaker, wizards, balloon. A lot going on, and the more you have going on, the more you have to pay attention to. Me personally, it gets confusing. I like a simple army, but these guys, the people that are in this competition this deep, they are really good Clash of Clans player. Whether they're with an organization or not, they know how to play this game, and they can handle big armies like this. And look at the queen. She's gonna grab the town hall.
Oh, that's exactly what you want if you are Eric from Space Station Gray. She's going to have to probably pop her ability here with these Expos. No, getting just out of range. The healers, which are still raged up, are going to be able to get her back to full health. That's huge. Holding on to that queen ability could be massive later on in the raid. We'll keep an eye on that. She's able to get on through the wall and work her way through the channel here in the middle as the rest of this attack is starting to wreck the top. The freeze spell, huge, going in. Oh, gotta keep the Hawks alive. Oh man, the splash damage, actually not enough to take them down. The heal spells are beautifully used, and there may be a lot going on in this attack, in this army composition, but at the end of the day, these troops are just going to town. They're not worrying about it, not making it complicated. Just take down these defenses.
Yeah, and it's going so well. I mean, you have to be happy when the queen can get herself to a channel and walk the entire portion of the base. Plus, for a few seconds, the healers transferred off the queen onto the miners and the hogs and then back onto the queen. But there are not many miners left in the attack. The queen is still there with her ability, and now she's going to get pulled up to full health. There are some, actually, the whole top of the base is defenseless. There's only 2 defenses left in this base. It looks like Eric is answering the triple with a triple of his own, and time is not going to be an issue. The final defense is about to be taken down by that queen. Her ability, like I said, still intact. This was a nice example of hybrid.
This is really, really well played. Again, a lot of little things done well. And Eric answering back saying, guys, 52%. It's not us. It's just not who we are. I got to get a triple now. Sorry about that. It was a glitch in the matrix. Don't even worry about it. And that's the answer, which means that now if we look in terms of stars, which is the primary way we score this, they're dead even. So now they're going to have to just work their way back in terms of that percentage game. Again, 52% is a bit of a hill to climb on over, but it's not a mountain yet by any means. They can still work this out, and especially they can keep War Agency down a little bit lower in the percentage in the next few attacks. Let's take a look. Let's see if that's going to be the case. This base building of Space Station Gray will need to be impeccable. We're actually seeing kind of a similar thing to what we saw last time around with that channel running down the middle, just kind of flipped around this time.
Yeah, we totally are. We're actually seeing quite a few of these channels, and I don't know that I love these designs because we've seen the value someone can get if the queen does decide to walk herself up that channel. But we're also seeing the same type of a Yeti smash attack with a couple of witches. It looks like War Agency really likes using these witches and sees the value in them, as this is the second attack we're seeing from them in this war, where they're utilizing just 2 or 3 witches to create enough confusion so the defenses don't know what to target. But when is this kill squad going in? It looks like it's going in right now, straight for the town hall, behind that super wall breaker, which beautifully opened up that compartment.
Yeah, just going right in. I actually love this. They're dropping an additional P.E.K.K.A. as well as the Witch in behind the siege barracks down at the bottom. So it's going to provide its own, and then they're going to have the backup as well, one additional one. And then those Witches are actually going in with the Wizards. So that's a lot of raw DPS, actually. You've got the P.E.K.K.A. in the front to tank, plus the Skellies that are going to be doing their job there as well. That's actually a really neat little adaptation, creating these small little pockets of damage that you can sort of play around. But speaking of pockets of damage, that's what I'm looking at the center of the space right now. The multi-target Infernos are going to town. The question will be, are there enough troops left in the center of the base to get through this? The RC is going in, but she gets taken down so quickly. You talked about the Skelly traps. They were there to deny her. She didn't even get a single multi-target, or single Inferno Tower, I should say. And now these attackers are looking a little thin.
Yeah, this one went in really nicely. I think that agent was really expecting for that Royal Champion to go through and take out at least 2 of those compartments, but she was shut down and took down 0. We still have a scatter shut up, 2 single target Infernos. This attack is going to stall right here. Didn't go quite as planned, although the intention was there. I saw the plan. I saw what he was trying to do. You know, when you can't access the compartments, when you have all these island compartments with those Inferno towers, it can be very tough. Even with the jump spell that was leading into 2 of them, he wasn't able to get through. The champion just didn't get her job done.
Yeah, and that was exactly what Space Station Gray needed. I said we need a little bit of a stumble here from Orange. We need them to trip up just a touch. 70%. That'll bring it right back down. We are well within striking distance. We've seen a lot of blowout wars today so far, even ones that, ended up not being that at the end, but this is a neck and neck battle so far between War Agency and Space Station Gray. So let's get into this next attack. We're at the halfway mark here. Let's see what Space Station Gray can do to answer.
Yeah, well, we're looking at teams that they're still in that top bracket. They haven't taken a loss yet, and there's a reason for that. And we're looking at this base again. We saw this base last week, and again, coming in with an air attack on a base that's just really weird with the walls, where you would think an Octo Quake could completely open up this base. Yet, Space Station Gray's attack is coming in, ignoring all walls. The walls mean nothing on this one. So, I don't know. I don't know why. I would have gone with an Octo Quake, but then again, I probably wouldn't have tripled the base.
You said this last time, and we saw, I think, like a mid-80s the last time the space was attacked going in with this air strategy. So it's pretty valid. It's somewhat valid. We're seeing those super wall breakers going on in. Going to be doing some work here to just open up this sweet charge. Trying to get as much damage as possible onto these defenses just to start things off and luring out the CC. Of course, super important. We'll see the poison being utilized for that, I imagine. And yeah, there we go.
Champion's going to come in. She's going to take out a bunch of defenses too. Now, the Queen I believe she could reach the Town Hall from that area if she were to step up. Unfortunately, her ability's been popped. She's not going to be able to do it, but she will get down. She will not get down the Eagle. She was starting on it. Didn't have enough to push through. But Champion's down there on that Eagle Artillery. Where is this Lalo going to be coming in? And again, that Champion struggling with those Skellies. Her ability's already been popped. She's about to go down. Oh, nice job with the freeze spell. Whoa, that was a clutch freeze. Allowing for the Eagle to go down. Now it's Lalo time.
Oh, yes. Let's see, though, if that just took a little bit too much time. We'll see if Heidi RJ is going to be able to get this one done, because there's still 1 star that needs to be claimed, and it is that Town Hall. The blimp's going to be going on in. The rest of the balloons, the haste spells are going to line this up. And let's see if Space Station Gray is going to be able to get to the meat of this base. And I think they will. I don't think it's going to be a problem. That Town Hall, not long for this world. There it is. And the 2nd star is going to be claimed as well. Now, the question is, are there enough balloons left to get down the rest of this base?
Yeah, well, there are 2 freeze spells, one being used right there. They're going to have to use the other one in the same spot to shut down that scatter shot and the multi-target Inferno, and there it is. There's only a few balloons left, but can they take down those defenses? And it looks like they're going towards the cannon instead, and it looks like that scatter shot is going to clean up everything that's left in this base. Now, remember, we're worrying about percentage as Space Station. So the good thing is these minions on the outside in the next 30 seconds can safely pick up a fair percentage, trying to beat out the percentage that their opponents just got in that last attack. So not the result they wanted. Again, a scatter shot shutting down an attack. I don't know, this base, you look at it and you say, just crush all the walls and go get it, but it always seems to be tricky, and I guess that's a reason why we're seeing it over and over again.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, maybe it feels like bait. Sometimes the Octo Quake could be really interesting here. I still would like to see somebody try and do it, whether it be here or on YouTube or on Twitch or whatever. I want to see somebody try and take down that base with an Octo Quake. Tag Echo in that tweet, and let's see what happens. But, we can theorize about it all day long, but somebody who's also here to theorize about things, our analyst, Carbon Finn, is back now at the halfway mark. There's only about 6% separating these 2 teams. They've both done fairly well so far. What's really stood out to you about this war? Is there one team that you had like an aha moment? You're like, oh, that was a really sick play?
Well, I mean, I was also looking like from Echo into Space Station Gray. They had a really good performance the previous week here, but we see War Agency coming in with the percent advantage. Both of them have the triple. It's just going to come down to these final few attacks, and I mean, it's neck and neck here. But can Space Station Gaming take that advantage? Will they take the risk to get it? I mean, they definitely have what it takes, but I think War Agency is looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think War Agency just again a little bit of lead they got going on. Space Station Gray, of course, not out of this yet. We don't want to rule them out. And of course, they are still in the upper brackets, so we'll see. There've been a lot of good attacks so far, and I expect there'll be many more before this war is out. So we'll let you go. Take a look at those, Carbon Fin. We'll check back in with you at the end for our Xperia highlights. But let's get back to the action here with Brian from War Agency Omega. Brian, do it, buddy. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, and he's coming in with another hybrid. I mean, like we said, a really strong strategy, and we're going to see how well it can do against this one. And again, this is a base that we've seen around before, or at least similar variations of it. The Queen could walk her way around towards the base, towards the town hall, or she could jump into that compartment because that's that wall breaker. What was used in there? Oh, no, she did not break the wall open. It was my eyes deceiving me. King and P.E.K.K.A coming in as well, going to start getting some value along the western side of the base. And the Stone Slammer coming through, which is definitely a weird play. But he went in with the Stone Slammer basically as a Yeti bomb coming in there, but not getting the Expo. They're running themselves around. Just a strange play right there. But the Queen, she's going to continue her way around the base. What you need to do, what you're trying to do essentially in phase one of the attack is narrow down the base. Then you send the Hogs, then you send the Miners. They're taking out everything else. I mean, that's basically the plan. And you kind of simple it down. Nice job with the heal spell on top of the Town Hall and the Grand Warden's Eternal Tome ability as well, keeping everything just nice and feeling good and strong. Through the scatter shot, though, that's when we see a lot of Hogs go down oftentimes, but this time they do get that scatter. One scatter shot remains, and it's over there in the east with the Inferno Tower protecting it.
Oh boy, yeah, having that usage of the Grand Warden ability there on top of the heal spell, that's actually interesting because you think to yourself at a glance, like, wasn't that kind of a waste? Because, you know, you're healing them, but they're also invulnerable. For troops that are already damaged, it basically just gives them a breath, a moment of reprieve where they can then just top themselves back up, get the heals in. But no, I mean, this was actually not really close. All three Inferno Towers still alive, Eagle Artillery still alive, Scattershot still alive. What happened?
I'll tell you what, the Lava Hound popped and those lava pups went through and started taking out the troops, taking out the healers, and the scatter shots, they just wreck Miners and Hogs. If you can't get through them quickly, if you can't tome through them or freeze them along the way, they're going to do a ton of damage, and we saw that happen. And if you look at the percentage right now, we're looking at a much closer game between Space Station Gray and War Agency Omega, and now it's getting a little bit more exciting. Space Station Gray, they started off with a little bit of a stumble, but they've been picking things up along the way. They've been they tied on the 100%, and then they got the higher percentage on the third attack. Now they got to beat 66% with a 2-star, and we're looking at a different game.
I mean, War Agency is just throwing away the lead that they built for themselves now. We're only like a percentage difference. Oh my goodness. Halo Blade 27. Oh boy, I feel like we're on Xbox Live in 2008, and I love it. From Space Station Gray, attacking Skywalker, who pulled off the triple for War Agency. We'll see what he'll be able to do here with the Yetis and that quad Quake. One addition of the Golem. I like the addition of these single ice golems coming in on the attack, because we've seen some clutch aggressive freezes on these key defenses do so much work.
Yeah, and you can't control where the ice golem go. You could kind of get an idea of where they're going to go, but when they do pop in the right place, they can completely shut down the core of a base. And if you have your troops raged up, going ham in the core while that freeze is there, everything is safe, everything is feeling good, and you could really do so much damage in the core. And let's see, he's got a really nice funnel set. The King did a beautiful job. Now the Queen, the Warden, and the Yeti are going to run themselves straight into that Eagle artillery, taking some fire there from that first Eagle shot. And notice the Siege Barracks not even being used yet, being held. Also, a super wall breaker still in the pocket. So Queen, we have the Grand Warden's ability used right there, and the Yetis are trying to get themselves to the Town Hall. They want to start slapping it around. There is an Ice Golem on defense there, though, which could slow down those troops shooting their way or
Uh-oh.
slapping their way on the town hall. Yeah.
Oh boy, here we go. Got to try and get down that town hall. The problem is when all your troops don't necessarily line up together, one of them activates, you just take so much damage for free. Finally, the pups will be cleaned up. The rest of the troops with that clutch jump spell right in the center of the base will be able to continue to put the pressure on, but we call this the Bermuda Triangle. It's when all of these Infernal Towers just overlap, and it makes things a little bit spicy to try and get in. People do not want to go that way. I don't think anything is going to be going that way. It's going to get shut down in an instant. The siege barracks on the outside is going to be able to get a little bit of cleanup, but this is not going to be the 3-star for Halo Blade. A lot of fans in the chat, but unfortunately not quite able to get it done here for SSG. Still going to be able to put up decent percentage, though. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually end up getting, into the 80s for sure, as those Yetimites continue to tick away at those defenses on the inside.
Yeah, well, those Yeti's pouches are losing a bit of Yetimite, so there's not going to be too many more to jump around. Actually, it looks like they do have a little bit left, but one of them goes flying off the map. Spring traps. They can be so tricky. And it looks like a 75% 2-star for Space Station on that one. And, I mean, we're looking at a very close game. It's a 2% game, and with one attack to go. So this is a battle. It's down to the final battle, the one that matters now.
I love it. Well, because functionally, this is a team. This is a team game. You've got 5 people on your squad, and then coaches, analysts, other clan members in there to help work on this. But this is now functionally a 1v1. It is that close that it basically comes down to a 1v1. Who gets the better attack here? Again, that 2% difference is going to make a slight difference, but it's not going to be massive. But let's find out. War Agency Omega is up to the plate first. Can they deliver? Can they knock it out of the park? Their hopes and dreams in the upper bracket rest on Agent here. Can he get this done?
Going against Fish's base as well. And I mean, for me, if I'm a competitor, I always like to see what my opponent does first. It kind of tells me what I would then have to do. Now, if a 3-star happens right here, that's going to be game over because of the percentage. So what he's shooting for is that triple to not even give Space Station Gray the opportunity to come back. But he did a nice little Yeti bomb there, took out that compartment.
Yeah.
What are you seeing? I hear your excitement over there.
Yeah, well, I hear the points you're making. You're absolutely right. A triple here because of the 2% difference. If they both get 100%, and functionally it just washes out. But the team that's already ahead wins. So you're right. A triple here would seal the deal. You're 100% correct. I'm just thinking about it because these have been all like relatively decent 2-star hits. The 3 stars are kind of behind us, but you're 100% correct. There's a pure, straightforward win condition, which is generally the win condition that we see here in Clash of Clans. It's easier said than done in a lot of situations, but come on, guys, just triple.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy for us to say sitting here, but at the end of the day, that is the truth. If he triples here, they win this war. Is Agent going to be clutch and be able to do that? It's easier said than done. Like I said, it's easy for us to say it, but we do have a nice jump spell, and these Yetis are going right in there for the Eagle Artillery and the Town Hall. But notice beyond, there is an Inferno Tower on single, there's an Inferno Tower on the left, and 2 scatter shots. But what just happened to that pathing?
They decided no Town Hall today. No, thank you. There you go, Queen. Oh, my goodness. Oh, going absolutely clutch. The Queen decided she wanted to get back on track. The Eternal Tome to keep everybody nice and popped up. Beautifully timed. The last second of Invuln there to tank the bomb. And this is looking now, okay.
There's a problem. We have 2 Ice Golem. 2 Ice Golem that Queen's going to need to deal with. Her ability's already been used. She's going to be frozen, and those scatter shots are going to pound on her time and time again. Will she be able to stay up through this? She does have some healer support, but she's stuck, not able to attack back. One of them goes down. She does take the second one down. Now there's a King and an Inferno Tower, which looks to be a tad bit weak, though. All right. I mean, this could happen. There's a lot that needs to go right. The Queen can't go down, and she is about to. She's got to deal with the enemy King as well. She does go down. The bowlers, they're just stuck behind wall, rolling their rocks, trying to get on through. At least the Warden is able to keep himself at a safe distance from the King. He's going to be able to pick up the percentage from that Builder's Hut and from the pedestal. But it's not going to be the 3-star that War Agency Omega needed to say, we won. It's now going to be in Space Station Gray's hands.
And here's the thing, too. Not only is it not the 3-star, but just because of the percentage here, they're not even necessarily, Agent's not even necessarily adding to the percentage. They're at 77 right now. Need to try and get above at least an 80 to be a net positive to this war for the team. With 5 seconds left, ticking down, we might be able to see that 80% reach just barely. No. Oh, no, that's not ideal. 78%. 79.4 is going to be the total 11 stars for War Agency Omega. So there are three things that could happen here. We could see a 3-star from Space Station Gray. That's just the win. GG right there. They get it in terms of stars. Number 2, they don't get the triple, but they get enough percentage. They're in the 90s. I think high 80s, low 90s, I think is what they need here in order to pull out the victory in terms of percentage. Or they don't do that. They can't quite clutch out the 2-star percentage they need, and they don't walk away with the win. We'll see which one it's going to be. Technically, they get also 1-star. We're going to pretend that's not an option. Let's go into the last attack and see what it's going to be. We only have so many options left. We've done the math, and can he be the one to solve this equation?
Well, this is really exciting, and we're dealing with a town hall that's in the core of the base, so he has to get a solid push. Now, lucky for Cameron, he's got an army that can do a solid push. Starting with the Warden Walk, he's going to get the Yeti Smash. Notice we've seen no Yeti Bat attacks in this war. Pretty funny how certain clans do certain attacks and others do different things. Just how certain clans like different metas and are comfortable with different metas. But here it's going to be the Yeti Smash with those witches, and let's see if those witches can come in clutch like we've seen them come in clutch before. The king is going to come in from the east, and he's setting that funnel so that the Yetis and the bowlers have nowhere to go but into the core of the base. I could see this working if the value happens from those jump spells, if they path properly, and if that Warden's Eternal Tome ability. But look at this Warden. It's being targeted by the Inferno Tower, and the freeze spell needed to be used. It's time to pull that Warden out of there. He is in trouble. We don't want that Warden to go down right now. And one more freeze.
He's fine.
Oh, he's good. He's good.
Whew, that was close.
Thanks for coverage there, Aaron Barron.
No worries. I mean, sometimes, our program feed is slightly delayed, but that's okay. We got there in the end, and that's A-okay, as the rest of the push is going to break right on through this. Honestly, that compartment, that felt like balloon bait. Like, it honestly, I was expecting the Yeti bomb to go in there with the blimp, but that's not what happened. Instead, the Warden Walk got it done, which means you still have this blimp in your arsenal to use it as you need, as you see fit. Maybe we'll see that come into that top compartment as well, but the Town Hall needs to go down, and it's still looking very healthy. The defensive freezes, oh my goodness, and the Eagle Artillery have been raining so much damage. There's the 2-star. 51% has been gained here from Cameron, but what can he do? He's actually going to use it as a Stone Slammer down at the bottom just to try and clean up percentage with the help of the RC, because his troops in the center of the base are absolutely gutted. Not the base, the troops, they've all gone down. The center of this base is still looking really darn strong with the scatter shot, with the Eagle Artillery, 60%. I don't think this is going to be enough, Echo.
Oh my God, this percentage is much lower than he was looking for. If it looks to me like he is not going to, there is no way. He doesn't have enough troops left right here to be able to pull out the high 80% that he needed, which means at the end of the day, Space Station Gray is going to lose this war based on percentage, just not able to get that push that we were looking for into the core of the base. War Agency Omega looks like they're going to be able to hold out this one and pull in the victory, remaining in that top bracket.
This is huge. This is huge for War Agency Omega. Got to give a lot of props. It was a very close back and forth war between these two teams, but Space Station Gray, unfortunately, will fall down to that lower bracket where they will join a myriad of other top teams. I called it the gauntlet last season because it was stacked, and we have, like, if it was stacked last season, like, to here, we're like at the ceiling now. It has gotten that much more intense. Exactly. We're just so much higher this time around. But unfortunately there, by about 4% in the end, just shy of 4%, that was the difference. A super great war between both of these teams. Oh my, that was clutch, back and forth. But you know what? We've got an interview with Skywalker to talk about that win. Let's take a look. Well, I am here with Skywalker from War Agency, and that was a pretty awesome war, dear sir. You clutched it out with that 3-star, securing your team the victory. And talking to you a little bit before this interview went live, you mentioned that this was your first tournament going into this, which is crazy to me because you guys are playing so well. Are there any nerves or anything? Or are you guys just like totally calm going into these attacks?
I mean, we have some nerves for ESL on this big of a stage, but we're in highly competitive wars all the time in War Agency and all our other clans, family of clans. So we're used to the pressure. It's definitely a good experience being here for the first time, though.
Yeah, because again, it is really your first time competing in an event like this. But tell me a little bit about the history of your clan, because it's very rare that a team just comes into this and does so well, makes it this far into the playoffs their first try. What is this? What is the secret recipe? Tell me more about your clan.
Well, War Agency is very large. Right now, we're running 3 clans, 40 to 50, all Town Hall 13 spins. International, it says United States, but there's a lot of international players. And a lot of different levels of play. You go from War Agency, which is our top tier clan, War Bureau, which is kind of a feeder, and then the definite feeder, Warlords. So you get all different levels of experience, gaming, high competitive, lower competitiveness, and it's all managed by Rocky Top and Princess Leia. High level of organization, moving people around constantly. So it's a good experience, good way to improve.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems like it's been able to catapult you guys to success. And I really do want to say catapult, because there are teams that have been competing in this for 5 seasons now who haven't necessarily made it as far as you guys have here. And you guys are going up against some of the top, quote unquote, sponsored organizations in the tournament. Do you guys think about things any differently if you're going up against maybe a lesser known clan versus taking on one of these really established organizations?
I think in the beginning, we looked at playing against Tribe Gaming or even Spacestation. And I don't know, I wouldn't say intimidated, but we definitely were like, wow, here we go. And once we beat a few of them, all that went out the window. And before the wars, it was just, it's time to go. It's time to beat them. Let's go.
I mean, it's shown. The way you guys have been able to manage and take down so many juggernauts has been super impressive. And because you've done this now, because you've got this experience, and you're getting pretty close to potentially making it all the way to the finals. Is that something you guys have, in your sights? Do you want to make it all the way to those finals?
I think for now, we want to get as far as we can. But going forward, there's a lot more seasons to be had, I imagine, with ESL. And, we just want to do the best we can do every season. Make sure we have multiple teams, high-placing teams, and get War Agency out there. Put it on the map.
I love it. Well, again, it's certainly first and foremost in my mind right now was one of the teams to watch. Thank you so much for sitting down for this interview, and best of luck in the next matches.
Thank you.
Well, you heard it there. Not overly confident, a good amount of confidence, but just trying to get as far as we can. Not trying to set, the sights too crazy. Oh, yeah, we're absolutely going to win. No, just we're having fun. We're out here to do well. We have a big clan family. We're well organized. We're taking advantage of this. So that's the kind of stuff I love to hear from it. And Carbon Fin is standing by to do our Xperia highlight from that last match. And if I was a betting man, there was a triple over the course of that war from the winning team of the player we just interviewed. If I was a betting man, I'd say it's probably the one we're going to take a look at.
Absolutely, 100% correct. We're going to take a look at Skywalker's triple that helped push him and get that victory right there up in the upper brackets here. So, I mean, the percentage, it was a low percentage war here, but hey, that one triple helped push him there, which we're going to jump in right about now here and take a look at what Skywalker came in with, which was the Yeti bow. Kind of not the Yeti bow bat, but it's just the Yeti smash. He had a few witches, and typically you tend to see witches being used on the outside with a king to help establish a funnel here. And the Grand Warden Walk is going to be used towards 3 to help kind of clear these defenses, this trash buildings on the outside here, to set up that funnel to get the Yetis, the bowlers, straight into the core. Does have a jump, does have a quad quake to use to kind of control where he's going to send the units here. And that jump definitely going to be used here on the outside to help get his way. Or actually, no, just the quad quake and then jump at the back end. Usually sometimes you may see a super wall break or something just to go through, but that compartment right here to get his way into the town hall, the scatter, the eagle artillery, and that siege barracks is used up on the top side, moving his way straight through. But he does have one balloon to test for a Coco Loon, or Coco Sam here, but the scatter shot, man, this Grand Warden just walking his way right past it, pops the ability early, and he's moving his way through. Even that scatter shot messed up these witches a little bit here, where he probably wanted them to continue all the way down and move towards 9. But hey, it was just enough, and we saw this attack was the one that had all the way to the very end to that single target Inferno at 3 o'clock there. But hey, he had the time to get through. Queen has to burn her ability, but he's able to just charge everything straight in, kind of create this funnel on each side, push his way through, bowlers the Yetis, made his way, and even these witches, which we saw in the very beginning, they got stuck on the Hound. They ended up staying alive towards the end to help push through towards the very end. And I mean, when you see all those skellies and a single target Inferno, it just won't do anything. These witches were on the walls here, which was a little interesting towards 9 o'clock. I don't know why the witch wants to stay out there, but the Queen, the healers keeping him alive, moves his way all the way through. And then, I mean, just enough to get through the final wall towards that single target Inferno at the very end. Grand Warden helps. Queen breaks through the wall here. It's just a matter of just waiting to see where he could drop this balloon to get the most value, especially with an air defense that is just standing up. I mean, you drop it anywhere near here, this AD will take it out, so that's why he's saving onto it. These Skelly's doing some nice work, and he's going to be able to get through, even though he doesn't have Queen ability, which can be very risky, but just enough. Once that AD goes down, drops the balloon, and has it to be able to take down that single target to help push them here in the upper bracket. For Skywalker, very nice job. Hey, 3-star is a 3-star right there. Gets it done. Broke through the wall. Very nice job.